Hello friends. So we'll now look at the next question in exercise 10.4. So what does the question say? A circular park of radius 20 meter is situated in a colony. Three boys, Ankur, Saeed and David are sitting at equal distance on its boundary, each having a toy telephone in his hands to talk to each other. Find the length of the string of each phone. So let's look at the figure for this question. So if you are seeing the figure here, I have denoted these 3 points A, S and D. A is basically Ankur, S is Said and D is David. So this is a circular field, and as per the question, these three people are standing equidistant from each other. Okay, and A, S, and D are talking to each other using a toy telephone, and the length of the string is what we have to find. So length of the string would basically be the distance this or distance this, AS, SD or AD. So for finding that, and we have been given that the radius of the circle is 20 meter. Okay, so this is given to us. For this question, what we need to find out is what is the distance AS or SD or AD, because all three are equal. So let AS equal to AD is equal to SD is equal to X. So we don't know, so we just put it as X. Now if you see here, I have drawn perpendiculars from these 3 points on the chords that are formed here by me, right? So AS is also a chord to this circle, and AD is also a chord, and SD is also a chord, and all three chords are equal. And also you notice that because AS is equal to SD is equal to AD, this is also an equilateral triangle. Now the center of the circle I am denoting by G here. Why is this G? Because if you notice, these chords are all these lines. Let's say this line intersects SD at M, and this intersects at N, and this intersects at O. Okay, so AM is basically the perpendicular bisector here, and then same can be said of SN and same can be said of OD. So when you look at G is basically the point of intersection of all these three perpendicular bisectors. Now if you remember, this point has a special name, and that name is called circumcenter. Okay, so this point is the circumcenter here, and the circle that passes through the vertices of this triangle, of which G is a circumcenter, is also called the circumcircle. Now this G is basically, it has a property. It basically divides this line AM or SN or OD in the ratio 2:1. Okay, so if this is basically 2A, and then this would be A. Okay, is it clear until now? Okay, so we will write it down here that G is the circumcenter of the circle. Why? Because it is the point of intersection of perpendicular bisectors in triangle ASD. Okay, also we'll write down that G divides AM in the ratio 2:1, right, which is basically the property of the median of a triangle, right? Okay, so this much is clear. Now we'll proceed further. So if this much is clear, then we proceed to the next step. So what is AG? AG is the radius of the circle, okay, and that is equal to 20 meter, okay. This is given to you, okay. So that means what? AG we have it as 2A. So 2A is equal to 20. That means what? A is equal to 10 meter. So we have A and we have 2A. So AM is equal to AG plus GM, which is equal to 3A, right? Why? 2A plus A, right? So that gives us 3A, and that is equal to what? 3 times A is 10. So that gives you 30 meter. Okay. So we are good until here. So what is the next thing? So now if you notice here, AM is the perpendicular bisector, right, for SD, okay. So since this is the perpendicular bisector, then SM is equal to MD, right? And what is, and also therefore that is equal to half of SD, right? And SD we have assumed as X, so that is equal to X by 2, okay. Now in triangle AMD, right, this triangle AMD, right, MD we just now calculated as X over 2, right, and then this is 3A basically, right? So this one is what? AD, right? AD is what? X, right? So if you notice here, this is what? This is X, right? So therefore by Pythagoras theorem we have AM square plus MD square, AM square plus MD square is equal to AD square. So put the values there. So AM square is what? Basically AM is 30. So this comes as 30 square plus MD square is what? X square by 4, because it's the whole square of X over 2. And then AD square is how much? X square. If you take this on the RHS, so we have 30 square is equal to X square minus X square over 4, right? If you take LCM, then you have 4X square minus X square, which is nothing but 3X square over 4, right? Now, so 3X square over 4 is equal to 30 square, okay? So if you take a square root on both sides and ignore the negative roots, because we are dealing with distances here, right? So distances are always positive. So if you just take a square root on both sides and just consider positive roots, then what do we have? We have root 3, square root of 3, X square becomes X, 4 is just 2, and this is 30, okay? Then now we can say X is equal to 30 over 2, right, over square root of 3 times 2, right? So you can also write it as 3 times 10 times 2 over square root of 3. This implies what? X is equal to, so you have, then you can cancel here, right? So you have root 3 times 10 times 2 is 20. So you have x as 20 root 3 meter. So that's your answer.